what you learn in each of these sessions and put it into action.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go!
What's up, my fitness family? Brent, Kasmer here. I am pumped. You know why? I know, you do know why. Every Tuesday, I get excited to be here with you. Come on, man. Are you joining me live? Come on, pop in the comments. I'm joining you live, Brent. I'm here. I'm watching this. Can't wait to learn the cold, hard facts about nutrition. That's what I'm teaching today, folks. Sit down, get out them notebooks. You know what time it is. It's time to educate yourself. Also, if you're joining me, this is a replay. Pop in the comments, replay. Before I even get really into it, I want to make sure that you guys are here with me, engaging. You know, you're here. What's up? All right, that way you can ask questions if you got some. I want to pop in there what you're currently doing. Pop in the comments what you're currently doing. What kind of nutrition guidelines you've set upon yourself. What you stick to, because nutrition's a funny thing. You know, everybody's trying to find this is what works for so-and-so, my neighbor, and I'm sure, I've seen him get shredded over the last 6-10 weeks, and I'm going to try it out. It doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for you. So you snowball, and you set up this, I guess, the barrier of defeat, where it's you try something where it's an extreme measure, and it sounds like an extreme measure, and going into it, you don't have the right mindset to dive in and to attack it, so therefore you fail, and you feel like a failure. And nutrition, it's crazy, so it's, in essence, it's food. Food is nutrition. When people follow a diet is a plan that's put together, I guess, you can kind of call it that. So a meal plan, a meal program. But you want to have guidelines. You got to have restraints. You got to have things in it that obviously fulfill certain things for your body. Because people don't understand. And we'll take it a couple notches in. Let's go. Ready, Brent? Let's tell the story. Let's get started. Let's have some fun. So, back in the day, I used to walk uphill both ways to school barefoot in the snow. No, I'm just kidding. But back in the day, I used to just eat because I was always a very fast burner, meaning that my metabolism was always super fast. I'm talking back in the day when I was young, so 12 to 18 years old. My metabolism's on fire. I was eating, honestly, whatever I wanted to eat. The good thing was my parents always knew that protein was good for you, so was on a super high red meat diet, honestly, because my dad felt at the end of the day, success meant you could eat steak and cheeseburgers, good quality steak, T-bones and sirloins and fillets, and 90-10 burgers, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He had his own eye-opening experience with his nutrition, not in a bad way, thank goodness, but he went to give blood one day. They couldn't draw blood out of his fingers, so they're like, what do you eat? And he went into it, and they're like, oh my God, you need to have chicken and fish in your diet. So right then it was he cut it off, and he wasn't having steak every day. But it was funny. It's funny to look back at it because nothing happened from it, but at the end of the day, he knew that protein was important, so we were always eating a high protein diet, and we always would have it sandwiched with other things, whether it was bread or pasta, or buns and hoagies and potatoes and mashed potatoes and stuff like that. Obviously you learn, especially in the field that I'm in, that all the different types of nutrition of the different types of foods and what it does for your body. So therefore, you go into different types of things, but I really felt that helped me to recover as an athlete. It helped me to maintain muscle. It helped me because I was a fast burner. So I was super active, playing all kinds of sports. I was in football and track and swimming, swam year round, kickbox year round. So I was in all these things. So I was literally jumping from one thing to another all the time, every day. And I used to joke, I'd be like, oh, my parents just don't love me. But I think that it was their way of showing me that they loved me, was just making sure that I was able to experience so much. So I had a lot of great coaches in my life teaching me a lot of different things, and it only snowballed from there. After graduating high school and college, I really got into nutrition. That's when I really stepped into a bodybuilding career and got super excited because I had an individual tell me, like, Brent, man, you need to get into bodybuilding. You have like these small ankles, small elbows, small knees, and it makes your muscles look good for it. So therefore, you have one, a good body for it, and then two, I really enjoy eating healthy. But then I really learned how to fine tune everything. So from the exercise perspective to the nutrition, perspective of it, I worked with some great coaches, Miss Olympia, in the natural circuit. So I got to learn. I didn't even know that there was a natural circuit to bodybuilding. So it was very like, oh my gosh, like check this out. Like this is crazy. Like I only thought like, Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno. Man, I was like, what? There's no way I'm going to be like, 5'8.5" and, 300 pounds solid muscle. My body will never get there without that. So therefore, like, but then when I found that out, I was like, oh wow, like I can be 5'8" and 197 pounds, cutting down, or 200 pounds cutting down. So I learned how to bulk. I learned how to strip fat. I learned how to like really manipulate my diet to do exactly what I want. So I was like, really like, oh my gosh, like there was like a whole, epiphany and eye-opening thing. Like, like if I can do this to my body for bodybuilding, which is one extreme, you can do it for endurance racing. You can do it for, all your sports, and then start making me think about how I can plan people's nutrition. So that way, if they were playing a sport, they could never not have a great game, because you can plan your nutrition right into the game. So that way you can always have the same outcome every single time. But if you could take it to one level like that with, athletes and elite athletes, to be able to manipulate it for your average individual, whether they're sedentary or whether, they're very active, or, just where they're at muscularly. So there's just so many different variables that you can do with your nutrition to mold yourself to look however you really want to look. So, wow, that was a lot right off the gate. Bam, smacked you in the face, didn't I? So it was just very eye-opening to me. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of why I became super passionate about nutrition, let alone exercise, obviously, as well. But that's what gave me the ability to create the programs that I've created for people to become athletic at every age they're at. To be able to manipulate people's programs dependent upon injuries, ailments, whatever's going on, occupations, to make sure they get the best out of themselves, whether they get the best, time frames of like, these are my windows I can eat, this is when I'm meeting with clients, this is when I'm traveling, whatever it might be, but just educating. Because if you're not educated and you don't know that there's quick, simple tricks and hacks out there, at the end of the day, like, you can't be mad at yourself. You just got to understand, like, hey, guess what? I didn't know this. Now I'm learning it. Now I can find out what works for my body. And that way I can live healthy. Know when I have, like, bad days, cheat weeks, cheat months, come holiday season time. And how long it takes me to recover from it, meaning physically looking and body fat percentages. So that way you can manipulate all those things to be the best version of yourself. So that way you mentally are peaking at the hours you need to mentally peak. So you can be that influential person that people are looking up towards to get information, and you're not just like, man, I need like 3 more cups of coffee and I'll snap out of it. Not to say I don't have those days too, but on a regular, consistent basis, it's about making sure that the nutrition meets you where you're at, moving you towards the goals that you do have. So when I asked you at the beginning, nutritional guideline plans are you following? If you didn't answer yet, answer now. Come on. This is interactive. Get in there. Pop it in there. Are you fasting? Are you keto? Are you Atkins? Are you grapefruit? Are you what? Like, what are you doing? What are you following? Do you eat a well-balanced diet? No processed foods? Everything's grown from the earth? Whole 30? Like what? There's so many out there. And I mean, obviously you can create your own, call it something, write a book about it also, because everybody's looking for something out there to become a bestseller. A good foundational way to start is taking a list of proteins, taking a list of carbohydrates, taking a list of, vegetables, a list of, seasonings, sauces, and drinks. And you go through and we'll take this list that you've created, unless you want me to create one for you. You take this list that you've created. Obviously, you've watched last week, your numbers, you watch stuff about like kind of getting to know where your starting points are, where you're at currently, and your goals of where you're wanting to go, and also some of the steps and what to expect along those lines as well. So we have your starting points. You take your nutrition based upon that. You'll pick like a breakfast item, so like eggs, egg whites. You could do like Greek yogurts, whatever it might be that you choose. You could pick your lunch proteins, which is like either your chicken, tuna, which would also be kind of steak, burgers, bison, venison. You can go the gamier side of it, ostrich, fishes that you like. And you'll go through and you'll circle 3 items out of each of those categories. So 3 proteins, not 3 out of each breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but 3 out of protein, 3 out of carbs, 3 out of fats. Fats would be like your, oil that you would cook with. So you would do your like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. And then you could also have in there, peanuts or stuff and along those lines. So just giving you guys some suggestions. Following me? So you're picking those 3 items, and you'll follow. You can make your meals according to the vegetables, proteins, fats that you picked out. And you do that for several weeks, see what's working. And you can manipulate it, write a meal plan, and then write another meal plan, and then just kind of like flip-flop them. But at the end of the day, the less variables you have, the more direct approach you'll have to the outcome, which is understanding what's working for your body and what's not working for your body. The cool thing is a lot of these things you could take on the road with you. A lot of these things you could take with you because you're educating yourself on how to do it. I have some clients that would rather just pick off a menu and order from, different meal prep companies and have it just delivered. And good approaches with that would be the fact of, same thing, learning your foods, and then also trying to sample in one of the meals that you've made for yourself throughout the week. So that way you can kind of keep learning how to do some of the stuff, A, yourself, and B, that way, obviously when you're traveling or when you're in different places, you can do it. Or you'll start to learn what foods to order when you are out and about and how things should actually taste. So that way hey, this is actually not prepared the way I asked you to prepare it. At the end of the day, nobody cares about your health except for you. Well, and of course me. I always want everyone to be healthy and successful, and I want everyone to experience life and live life rather than watching it through a lens. So I want you to get out there and get jiggy with it. But I want you to feel confident in your skin, and that's what's going to make you feel that way. So you'll learn your performance. You'll be like, man, look, a low-carb diet really helps me super focus. I get good sleep at night. You'll start to journal and make these notes about how you feel on whatever foods you've chosen. Because at the end of the day, the food is just the fuel for your body and mind to work at its optimal performance. Quit using it as a crutch or an excuse. The cold hard truth, the cold hard facts about nutrition, and that's what it is. You're going to learn a lot about your performance and how what you choose creates that outcome. And you'll have more variety and more variety and more variety as you start with the limited selection. Because there's a lot that goes into it, but I want you to have those baselines so that way, if you're just watching the video and you just want to get rocking and rolling and you're super excited, I want you to have success. I want you to get wins under your belt. I want you to drop 1, 2, 3% of body fat every week, especially right now, especially as you go into summer. You want to feel good. You want to go into the pool. You want to be throwing your kids around. You want to be enjoying your surroundings because it's nice. And I mean, the mind is a big thing. Like it's honestly, it's like one of those things, like you do not understand how clear you will think when you're eating proper nutrition. You don't understand because you've dummied your mind down with alcohol and sugar and processed foods. Like, no, I'm good. I'm pretty, like, yeah, you're telling yourself that. And yes, you might be brilliant and you might be crushing whatever it is, sales in your business. But dang, I'm telling you right now, if you did it without the sugar, the alcohol, and the other bullcrap, processed foods, you'll be next level. Like, I'm talking, I mean, quote me on it. You don't see all these like top-notch, high-performing people junking their body up internally and mentally. So you do want a well-balanced diet. You do want to have variety. You don't want to just not have any carbs. You don't want to not have any fats. You don't want to not take a good multivitamin. You know, and I put together lists for all my clients of all the best top foods to eat, to get that clear mind, to get those everything firing the right way. Because at the end of the day, like when you got the best list and you got all of these things at your access, you can't not perform at a peak level. And if you want the list, just tell me, man. Put it in the comments. Brent, shoot me the list, man. Tell me what protein I should eat. Tell me what carbs I should eat. Because I want you guys to have success. So if you had to say a couple things real quick, pop in the comments what your struggles are. Like why you're struggling, what's going on, why you feel like you're on an island. Don't feel bad, man. This is like a good open forum. Don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to it, but I mean, honestly, it's been great. I'm reading a lot of good books, getting some extra cardio in that I normally wouldn't get, but it's been a journey. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, it's good to challenge yourself. It's good to like expand your mind to things that are going to help improve you, which then helps improve also your inner circle of people around you. Because if you're challenging yourself, then most likely people are looking up to you. And do you see how this whole pattern works? And they should always be in this group too, because it's a great group. Make sure you guys are inviting people in there. What you learn in each of these sessions and put it into action. You know, the stuff when I teach you about your different things to do working out wise, different things to do nutritionally, different ways to sit down, regroup, and go over timing everything, when you're going to do each thing, and everything being on your schedule, so that way everything's knocked out in its block of time. So, you know, food prep, eating, you know, drinking water, working out, getting all of those things in the exact order that you have determined for it, so that way there's no questions and the proof is in you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys understand how to put together those lists. Like I said, if you need help, just let me know. But it's not hard. It's really not that hard. So I don't want you to make it that hard. I want you guys to understand your numbers, understand the foods that work best for you, understand eating a well-balanced diet, understanding how to time it all out so that way you get your body used to the clock and how it's supposed to work, and drinking that water like you're supposed to drink it. All right, so if you got questions, food, vitamins, you know, what I should take, what I shouldn't take, you know, I always have recommendations for you. Just go ahead, pop in the comments, message me, let me know where you're at, what's going on, how I can help. And guess what, baby? Success is the only option, all right? So I will see you guys in the next video. Unless you guys are working with me, because I'll see you, guess what? I'll see you later on.